on today's episode of the Lone Wolf Chat. Excuse my voice, it's a little off today. I'm still recovering from a cold, which I'm still trying to figure out how I even caught a cold because I've been masking up this entire time. But like someone said, I probably was touching surfaces, and people are sick these days because even though we got COVID, guess what? It's still cold and flu season. So this is the last podcast of the year. So what can we talk about? Not much. Part of the reason why the podcasts haven't been going as quickly as they normally would, or at least having 2 podcasts out per month, is strictly because there hasn't been much writing news to talk about. Just going on, Google News, there hasn't been much. Now, if you're on TikTok, I'm sure there's some drama out there, but it's not enough to cover a whole 20-minute episode about. So I haven't had that much news going on. The other thing is because of my job, I've been working longer hours and it's very stressful. So I haven't really had the energy to even write a script. And I know I shouldn't use like a million excuses, but that's kind of how a lot of stuff has been going lately. So I do apologize. It's just that I haven't been able to really get the energy to do it. Today even is kind of a struggle. Even in my voice, you could probably hear it because I'm still recovering from illness. But I was determined to, at least while I have this couple of days off from work, to at least put an episode in. The other thing is, if you notice on screen, the normal gameplay you would see of me playing Resident Evil is gone, and it's The Sims. And I have a really specific reason for that, which is that here's the thing. I bought an Xbox Series X, and it probably would have been the same thing if I got a PS5. The Bluetooth feature that I had that recorded gameplay was coming from my Xbox One, the OneCast app, which would connect to my Xbox One. The new Series X and even PlayStation has changed it so you cannot just Bluetooth gameplay footage to your computer to upload. I don't know what's going on with that. I think they want everybody to join their Xbox in particular wants everybody to join their Xbox One account so you can only play through their gameplay, which is really, really dumb in my personal opinion, but I have no say over that. I've tried using my iPad, I've tried using my iPhone, I've tried using my husband's Android, my sister's computer, who has a Windows, and even someone's Chromebook, and it doesn't work. Like, Apple really wants you to hook up your PC to their specifications in order to upload gameplay, and I just think that's dumb. I mean, maybe in the future the Bluetooth hookup will change, but right now this is what I got to work with. I have other games, but I kind of want to focus on this because I'm trying to finish up Shin Megami Tensei before I play any other deep RPG games that I do like to play, or Resident Evil. So there's that right now. The other thing is, with the podcasting market, like I've said earlier, I am slowing down my podcast to 1 a month. It's getting to the point when you're on the internet, you have to see what is more beneficial to you and what isn't. And I know it sounds really messed up, but just hear me out. Right around the time the pandemic started, or probably a little bit before that, like 2019, there have been an increase. Probably before that. I'm a little slow in the influencer changing careers department because I have real life issues. But anyway, I've noticed like these uptick of people like who are influencers doing podcasts. I'm not talking about the Joe Buttons or the Joe Rogans, or I don't know why. It's kind of weird that both of their names are Joe. Anyway, or like any other former celebrity that like ended up, being like a C-list status and got their pockets. I'm talking about like influencers, like the Paul brothers with their impulsive podcasts. Not that I'm hating on them or anything. I'm just pointing out stuff like Trisha Paytas, Tana Mojo, even boyfriend Ryland. What is his name? Shane Dawson's boyfriend Ryland. They all have these podcasts, and not all of them are bad. Some of them are good, but then you got some that are just, you kind of go, why do you even have a podcast? Like, what is your end goal here? Because there's no rhyme or reason to your podcast. There's no theme to your podcast. You guys are just, and to be fair, podcasting is really just 2 people talking, or in my case, 1 person talking on a microphone and, just kind of rambling off at the mouth. But usually there's like a talent or rhyme or reason, but now it seems like podcasts have become industrial and it's all about money. That's all it is. It's all about money. And the more money you have, the likelier your podcast will be pushed further to the front of marketing rather than the back. So then you got someone, let's say, I was just talking to somebody about this not too long ago. Let's say you have a podcast and your podcast is about sports, and you got someone like, not Charles, I'm just using Charles Barkley as an example, who actually has a communication degree, ironically, so he actually knows what he's doing. You got somebody big who's like really into sports, or let's not use Charles Barkley. Let's use let's just say a YouTube influencer. It doesn't matter which one, because no matter what I do, I'm probably gonna get flamed for it. But let's say an influencer does a thing about sports, but then you got somebody who's been a coach for schools for many years, high school football coach, been doing it for over 20 years, and they know their stuff. They know about sports and sports in general. They study sports medicine, and they decide to do a podcast. The influencer who does a sports podcast, it's going to be more popular than the person who's actually studying medicine and just does a smaller podcast. So imagine you pay all, you got influencers paying all this money to promote the podcast. So their podcasts are pushed to the front, and you're over here with this little type flag going, "Oh, I'm back here. Hello. I study sports and I know about sports medicine. I know how to do sports. Can you come see me?" And it's almost like the acronym goes, no. So when it comes to podcasting, like, that's part of the reason why I'm only doing one podcast a month. Podcasting has gotten to the point where, even though it's still the Wild West, it's become more industrialized. So unless you have like money to push your podcast to the forefront, it's almost like doing podcasts takes more energy than what the platform is willing to help it. How do I put it? It takes more energy to go into it than it is to have like an output towards the podcast. So starting next year, it's just going to be one podcast a month. That's all all the energy I'm willing to put into it right now, especially with my life situation right now. The other thing I've noticed with the podcast, the only podcasts I've seen that like are pushing are people who work in certain like drama podcast production. Like, for example, the people who do Welcome to Night Vale, they've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, at least in my opinion, 5 or 6 years now, and they've been going strong. Even during the pandemic, they were going strong, and they had less episodes than they normally do, and they were going stronger than, let's say, the Welcome to New America podcast, which they only had one season. It's a little weird. I liked it, but it was like super weird. It was about vampires and stuff, and I don't know if you would like it, but the point is, a lot more drama podcasts are doing much better than like individual ones. Even, like I said, Welcome to Night Vale. Another one I liked was We're Alive, A Story of Survival, which is basically a zombie apocalypse one, but this one is like, it's more realistic. It's about people who are in the former military and people's lives around that and stuff. And it's under Wayland Productions, which actually produces other stuff. Like, from Welcome to Night Vale's perspective, they have a series called Alice Isn't Dead. That's really popular. The Penumbra podcast, that's not under Welcome to Night Vale or what's the other one? Wayland Productions, who does the We're Alive series. They're just really good at audio podcasts, and they're doing well. They're an LGBT podcast, and they've done well. Now, those are like, I think, almost like a few and far between podcasts that are surviving. Podcasts at this point, even though it's a Wild West, like I said, it's been becoming more industrialized. So you have to push. It's almost like you have to see what is the priority, or how much energy are you willing to put into this. And I'm going to do a whole YouTube video about this also. Not just this, like even doing live streams, doing YouTube videos. Like, how much energy are we willing to put in? Because the way the market is going for promoting people in general, it's not for the little person, it's for the bigger person. So, as downhearted as it sounds, I'm still going to do podcasting regardless, but I won't be putting as many episodes out. That's the whole point of this podcast. I was trying to find a better way to say what I wanted to say, but it kind of is what it is right now. Until my life gets a little less hectic. This is what we're kind of dealing with right now. The other thing is, podcasts are expensive, and I have to pay over $200 to keep a podcast going and the website going. And I know my website sucks, and I have to find or get the funds necessary to have someone paid to redo my website, because I already have a web domain, which is lonewolfchat.com. But I need somebody who knows websites to make it look nice and user friendly. I mean, the front page I did myself, the part of the graphics I did myself, but when you click on the links for each episode, it's like, ugh, this is bad. That's kind of like the list of things I have to work on. And the final thing is, I'm still working on my manuscript. I'm on second draft. I just finished the outline under the Save the Cat method to write this, write the story. So with the slowdown, I'm hoping with the slowdown is the avenue of getting the second draft written, the chapters fully written out, fleshed out, and published. So I'm still doing the podcast. It's going strong. Happy holidays to everybody, by the way. It's just that I have to do some tweaks and change stuff around so it works out in my favor a little better. But again, thank you for listening to the podcast. Happy holidays, and I will see you guys in January. Bye-bye.